Alright, so let's take a look at what trades were available. So all of this is all bullshit, and eventually the market went here and it rallied on 15,000 contracts. Not a paltry amount. 15,000, significant. And actually there was preliminary demand up here as well, but there was still too much selling pressure. So there was preliminary demand up here, where it was at, they bought 15,000. Okay, but there was still supply, and I guess maybe this is a shakeout or something. I don't know. But this is where initial buying occurred. Where are the turning points? That's the question. 15,000 up here. Now their line is like 30,000 minus all of that. But this is where the heavy buying occurred. 15,000. Pull back on 500. 15,000 versus pull back on 500. The force of supply is diminished. So 15,500 down initiated the turning point, which basically um, created this trend. Trend keeps on going and going and going and going and going and going. It keeps going and going and going and going until here at the end of the day on Friday is where another turning point occurred, where the market went from strength to weakness. The question is, there isn't a lot of sign of weakness, like a heavy sign of weakness, right? That's how it looks. But understand that, these traders and the CM is very, very slick. What he did was he sold on the up wave and not the down wave. Here is where you have heavy volume, and by the slope of this wave and the fact that it was a false breakout, it is really telling you that the selling occurred here. Heavy selling, exiting of the positions occurred here. This is an upthrust followed by a change in trend. Alright, so that a lot of the selling occurred, and then additional selling occurred here, and you have 1, 2 inside consolidation, and that's where the springboard occurred. Springboard is also is a type of turning point for the market to enter into markup or markdown, and that was the point where you're about to exit distribution and enter markdown. So this is what happens. Markdown occurred. Okay. Here, this point right here is when you went from weakness to strength, and it's a very fine thing to go from one phase to the other, meaning accumulation into markup. This is the point. Alright, and this is the point where you go from distribution with an upthrust into markdown. Now, were there any other indications? There were. You see over here in the synthetic equity index, there was like a demand signal, but it was unable to hold, and there was a clean break. So that means it's not demand. That's like a hypodermic maneuver. Alright, it's like a maneuver to give a false impression that buyers are coming in, because it wouldn't have broken down on the biggest down wave in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in all of these down waves. You have a clean break that takes out all of these lows on a lot of time with a lot of bars, telling me that this right here on the Dow futures, they're in big trouble. All right, so it's telling me that this thing's gonna crack, and that's what happens. This thing cracks. So the equities index was able to help in the synthetic index was able to help by making all these lower lows, and finally the Dow followed suit. And it was end of day, so a lot of these guys are not going to hold positions or start buying toward the end of the day when the market has been uptrending the whole day. So it set up the move from strength to weakness. All right. Also, basically, it's a turning point from from here, springboard turning point. That's all, folks.